Welcome back and Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a Merry Christmas as well. You can see what I've been up to. Yeah, it's been a little bit of work, but that looks just as good on both sides. It's amazing. If you just want numbers, you're just going to have to hang out for a few minutes. I've got some stuff that I've discovered that you might want to listen to, and you might accidentally learn something. For you gurus, it might be reinventing the wheel, but it's been an eye-opening experience for me. I've learned some things, and hopefully it'll help some people simplify what's happening, make things a little bit simpler, relieve some of this laser brain. And we all know what that is. I've been working on these things. I've been working on this video since Wednesday. Everything I did just went to hell. Finally comes to a point where you just have to just stop and take a step backwards. But before I go there, I probably ought to give you a little insight on actually why I'm doing this. Why? Because I love it. I love figuring things out, and I can't just hit the button, let it go, and not know why it's doing it. Why am I putting so much effort into the cups? Because the alternative sucks. Painting just sounds like such a mess. The cleanup it just all sounds crazy. Then all of a sudden you're here, you're talking about, oh well, acetone cleans it up. Well, I heard acetone and dung. I would say ding, but it's more like dung, because everything goes to crap once you get laser brain. And sure enough, I heard acetone, and my brain went straight to, oh God, where am I going to find that? I mean, I'm a mechanic. I paint cars. I do different stuff. I'm pretty chemical savvy, but I can't remember the last time I heard acetone. I'm like, well, it's just maybe even on the endangered species list. Well, who knows? I said, well, I guess I'll look at the home improvement store when I go. And if they ain't got it, I'll check out the automotive paint store, and they got the more serious stuff there. And hopefully I'll come up with some. Figured filed it away, and I'll deal with that later. Well, in the meantime, I'm working on these, trying to find stuff for this gimmicks on what I'm doing on these things. And my train of thought was, if they're painting it on the front and it's working, then there's got to be either some kind of reaction going on. It's not just a shield, there's something going on. So I need to put something, a petroleum or something on the back. I tried a couple other things, and finally I hit on that WD-40, and it was working. It was working good, but on the big stuff it would dry out, blow out. Let you look at something else going on. Here's some more. It would blow out. So that's when I went to the 3-in-1. It was thicker, it would work better. Oh God, it was working good, but it wouldn't dry up. And it just, after a while, it just got to where it was blowing out. And it was all kind of weird, because you'd be going for a while on any method you do, it would do great, and then all of a sudden just start blowing everything all to pieces. It didn't make any sense. Well, I was at the dollar thing, looking around for stuff to, let me show you this one. Looking for stuff to try, different lubricants, gels, whatever. I actually got some Vaseline. Yeah. Let's see if you can see that inside. It's just as clean. I actually got Vaseline and tried it because I figured it's petroleum jelly. Why not? Why not give it a try? So here I am over there looking for that. Well, guess what, this poor bottle was staring me in the face. Well, that's not the part that was staring at me. Big red letters on the side, 100% acetone. Here it is around the corner for $3, but my brain went straight to, it can't be that easy, I gotta go look here, I gotta go look there, I gotta do this. That was my first step, that I need to take a step backwards and rethink this or whatever. By the way, Vaseline does not work, don't try it. It just made a big mess. Yeah. Let me show you. Now, tell me I don't have laser brain. I wouldn't back this out and show you the little rig I got set up here. Do I really need a 14-inch wheel hub assembly off a motorcycle and a 3/4-inch piece of acrylic to hold up a cup? I think I seriously over-engineered that. What do you think? I love it. Anyhow, I'm working on fixing this. I thought I had the cups dialed in. And I was actually working on them in LightBurn on my main PC. Well, I'm working on these. Finally remembered something. It dawned on me. I don't know if I showed you this or not. But I'm trying to do all this coatings and all this kind of stuff, and it's all about, and it's burning out, and I'm like, wait a minute. I happen to remember this. You can see it. I didn't think much of it at the time. That is just as simple. When I was working on the glasses, like doing them cars, it just gets confusing. It's just a simple grayscale that I came up with and printed out. And I was just using this card for myself for flipping back and forth. You're doing the wheel wells and you know it's black, but you got to paint it white, and it just goes against everything you normally think. You're trying to paint a negative is what you're trying to do, and it's rough. Well, I decided just for heck of it, I printed it out on here. I never thought anything about it. That's a PNG file. This isn't done in layers. This isn't. It's just one simple PNG graphic printed out on glass. Like I say, I never put no thought to it. But then I went ding, 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 wait a minute. Maybe we need to think about that. How did that happen? I didn't put them on layers. I didn't go back and tell it to slow down, or I didn't tell it to do all that. So how did that do? I know the laser printed it. How did the laser do that? Nobody really knows or cares, probably. But in order to do that, the laser's got to adjust the pattern. So when it sees one of these, if it sees that color, it turns the power down to that automatically. So wait a minute, why couldn't we use that to our advantage? We could be running the power just by what colors we choose on the grayscale. Well, I know about the power meters and all that, and God, them things are a joke. They're so big, bulky, and they're a joke. Well, say hello to my little friend. I just made a little meter, a little grayscale, a little box that I can print on whatever I'm working on. Print this at 100% on whatever you're working on, and it'll tell you if you're in the range or not. If this thing is completely whited out, you know, overburned all the way, you need to go faster. You're using too much heat. You know, you're too slow. Go faster. Go as fast as you can until it don't work anymore, then come back and you'll hit your optimum thing. I mean, yeah, I know we can do that with the heat things. But before I tried this, I'm like, that can't be possible, and I know people are going to tell me it don't work that way. Well, it does. I went ahead and made that. That's 10 rings. Each ring is a different 10% of the grayscale. All the way in to black, 0 black. I loaded that up as a PNG file, single PNG file, not put on layers, no nothing. And I just burned it to a piece of wood just to see what would happen. Let's see if you can see up in there. Not. But keep my little flashlight. There it is. There is a crater. It made a heck of a crater. It made a crater. And where you at? There you are. And there are actually ridges and a step at each one of them colors. All the way down to black. I mean, that's down in the hole. I can stick that pen up underneath there just about. Now I ran that at 30, 100% at 30 one time, and that was it. And then I went ahead and ran it again at 100% at like 120, just to kind of clean it up and burn all the crap out of it. I haven't wiped it, I haven't done it. That's exactly what it, 2 laps around the track, and that's what I got. Now, to build that or do that in LightBurn itself would take 10 layers, which means it would be 10 laps around. Now, I haven't played with it much in LightBurn, so I don't know. It may or may not do it that way, but if you're working in layers and having to put each color on another layer, and you're doing multiple layers when you could be just using different colors of the grayscale, you're wasting a whole lot of time. So after I knew that worked, I took that guy and threw it to a cup, and I kid you not, it was always running too hot. Let's see if you can see that one. Always been burning through, always been having problems. So I went ahead and kicked it up I was always running 2090. That's been my number all along, was 2090. I went ahead and ran it. You run this at 100%. I went ahead and kicked this up to 30. Well, there's only the last two there are the only ones that even look decent, and they ain't even coming in, so that's too fast. It's not burning enough. We've gotten out of range. So I went back to my 20 speed and ran it again. The 100 was blowed out on the chip, 80 was blowed out on the chip, 70 was blowed out on it, or 80 was blowed out on the chip. 70, the chip was perfect. On 60, the chip had one corner going out of it. The 50 had something. 70 was absolutely perfect. There was just something about the sweet spot of 70. So I just turned my heat back to 70, turned the power back to 70, and ran that logo right there. Now, I screwed up and didn't do my paging first, or framing, and of course it jumped and went over the top of my box. But I put my finger on it and turn it around, and that, you can see up in there, there's the back side of it. I mean, it's just as gorgeous as it can be on both sides. I did a couple more, and it was fine. Now everything here is a PNG file in LightBurn. I did that, got it dialed in. Well, I got tired of walking, and I went and found me an old laptop and got it set up, and now I've got LaserBox Basic going on a laptop right here next to the machine. I stuck one in there, and it just blew it all to pieces. The two of them don't share settings. That's kind of disturbing, but you can pretty much guess that would happen. But first off, LaserBox does not play well with PNG files. I stuck it in there and just ran it. That's 50/50, just default settings on everything. Just ran it just to see where it would go. And God, it's fuzzy, it's nasty, but the burn wasn't half bad. Well, then I kicked it up. I went to the standard, the 2090 that we usually do, and I opened the size up, and then I increased the sharpness on it and ran it. It wasn't half bad, but it was popping or doing some weirdness. It wasn't right, but then when you turned it over, it was actually burning the donkeys out of the backside of it. There's some black stuff in there that you ain't gonna get out. And that's pretty much what we've been getting on a lot of stuff. Well, I went back after that. There it is. That was the first one. That's the second one. Well, I went back into Corel, and I went ahead and I made me a SVG file and sent it over. That's that. It came out, the lines and stuff were gorgeous, but Lord, they got torched up bad. So I ended up taking and running some test things. I ran a few of the tests, ran it way up, ran it way back, and I don't know which one it was, but I popped a few good ones out of it, and then was gonna do the video, but then it started blowing out again. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Well, let's go ahead. I've got a treat. take a look at that. So that was the first side, and I still went to tweaking after that. Now this was done in LaserBox. That's done in LaserBox. Let me start off with almost everything I've done I could probably sell. I could put a table up down at the indoor flea market and it would go. That's not the quality I'm looking for. I'm wanting stuff that I would feel honored putting in front of a bride and groom to take their forever pictures with. I want quality. I'm not just to slam it out and go. Now if you're just looking for the numbers, for just doing hard SVG files or whatever, SVG files, you're going to want to speed your stuff up because they burn hotter. So in LightBurn, 2070 was the magic number, and I mean they were burning great. In the LaserBox Basic, it ended up being 3070, 10 faster. Well, I was running out of space, so I ended up having to get some more cups. Let me show you my first cup. It was blowing the glass out. I have never seen anything hit. There's actually divots in the glass. It was blowing it out so hard. There's another one. Well, then I started around. I mean, I had to do the same thing. I had to start hunting for settings. I found it to where I could get the solid one on there. But like I say, that's not what I'm looking for. I want better. So I hunted and made a couple other discoveries. But we're going to go ahead, so you don't think I'm messing around. Let's go ahead and set one up and get it in here. I'll continue bullshitting after that. Well, it's a good one. Foam. Parasox works just great. What I've been doing is, let me bring you out here so I got some room to work. Roll up your socks, but then on your last one, I just put the elastic side last. So that way it's got a nice, flat surface to pushing. Now, I'll go ahead and use this one. Then I'm stealing a trick from the acrylic guys. Where's my new cup? We're going from scratch here. New cup. I'm going to go ahead and wash it good before we get started. And I'm thinking you want to keep one clean rag around just for washing, because if you don't get the glass clean, the stuff's only as good as the surface it's going to. If there's a coating on it, or who knows what happened to it in the store or whatever, I would just get it out. And of course, my paint stick's been here all day long until I need it. That's gone. Now, these cups are a special challenge because they taper. They're smaller at the top than they are at the bottom. I made a washer to go on them and stuff, but you know what? I said no. We're going primitive on all this stuff. So I found some more weather stripping tape that I had laying around. It's working out perfect. And the same as the other. This stuff is so old, the glue don't even work on it anymore. So I gotta put it on and then hit it with a piece of Scotch tape. Alright. That's about it. I got a piece of paper here sized up. Of course not. That'll work. There's a rag. Now, where's my rag? There it is. Now, the acrylic guys are using just soap. So, on that one that's underneath it that I haven't looked at yet, I didn't show you that one. I showed you everything else on that cup. That's the one I just burned, my last burn, just before we got done. Now, when it's solid colors, everything looks great. I want more. I've got one color gray going on in the leaves, another going on in here, and a different color going on in the letters. And it all looks like it's burned great. I can't wait to take it out, but we'll get to look at it together. We'll look at that here in a minute, because there are some other things that led to this. Let's get this one in here. Just so you don't think I'm playing games with you and BS and we'll try and get one done. These actually don't take all that long to burn. That's it. I mean, just a funky, real quick wipe of dishwashing soap, a lubricant, something in there, and it might be acting as a coolant. It seems to be helping. I haven't used it enough to make a big evaluation on it yet. Now, let's see if we can get this stuffed in there. This is like, we might need to take the outside side off. Down in there it went. Buckle happening over here for some reason. Buckle in the sock right there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a line in the sock, and my paper actually followed that line. So I don't like that. There we go, make it smoother. And I think I'll try another piece just for that reason. I don't want them creases in here. There we go. Now let's go find, there's my jug. I put it right with my line on here, so I kind of got an idea of where I put my soap. That's all it takes. Now I'm doing these actually upside down. Oops, I forgot I did something else. I'm having to do these this way, and I had to put another spacer under here to get the glass level. This just makes it roll even, but the glass still wasn't level, so I had to build it up even a little bit more. It's pretty darn close. And then, whatever this thing says, y'all sure didn't want anybody getting them levers with gloves on, that's for dang sure. Hell, I can't even get them with my finger and fucking put gloves on. To make us a lever we can reach to get instead of this monkey BS. Whatever the thing says, I raise it up just a little bit over that. Not much, just a little. On my bottom. Let's just call it right there. Take you over here. You can look over my shoulder. I haven't brought anything in yet. Hopefully that'll focus in. I'm gonna knock that over now. Alright. And import it. Turn it 180. Turn it 270. Now another thing I found is Floyd works great. Don't increase your lines per inch. All it does is kind of flatten the image out. I've been getting better crystallization with it staying there. And then I don't take the sharpness all the way up. 95, 96. That's all I'm going to do. Now, this says my magic number was 90-40. I don't think it was. I think it was 70-40, but we're going to go with what it says. I went for about 65 for a width. I want to see if it hangs on there or not. It might be a little too loud. I might have to come back. I'm using Floyd for the dithering, 100 lines, 96. Told you it's no laptop. I'm going to center it on the bottom. Use the cylinder with the frame and see what we get. I think I better cut a few out of that. I'm going to go 62. Come on, Speedy. Alright. We're just going to hit burn and turn over. Back up here. And good enough. Start. There we go. See, that's what I'm afraid of. It always comes up and does that. Your framing don't exactly match where the thing's going to go. Because the X marks and where the laser is actually at are two different places. Why they don't fix that when it goes for the check, I don't know. But you can see it pushing the smoke around the glass. Cleanup's a breeze. I'll do with that. Now, why this glass would be any chunkier or drier than the other, I have no idea. But, I mean, I know they come from the dollar place, and probably not high quality, but with this little gimmick I got going, with this little test, you can dial in about anything. But before we get to that, even with what dialing it in and doing all what I came up with, you know, this little thing, dialing it in, bring my little board back up here without killing our project here. You're just waiting for something to crash, I know it. I know I am. Alright. This is the graphic. Well, that was the graphic before I changed it. Yeah, using ice cap letters is not a good thing. You'll notice it looked like the letters were missing and blowed out, but it was because I used ice cap letters, and nah, not what you need to be using here. But what I'm trying for was a different color. Gray is what I'm trying for. Well, I got to noticing even when dialing it in, my it's still blowing out the cards. I mean, granted it's a thin card, but still. But I got to noticing even in the old stuff, even in all my little test strips, the black is what's hitting hard. So, being a graphic designer, being in graphics and stuff, the ding bell just finally went off. Why are you being such a dumbass? There are two color palette systems. There's RGB colors, there's CMYK colors. The RGB black is a much darker picture black. The CMYK is more of a pastel. It's kind of more like that. It's not a real rich, deep black. And from questions and things I'm seeing around, everybody telling people to go to these places and get their images converted and all that, I'm willing to bet that that isn't what it is, that they were an RGB image and they're blacks. Whatever RGB, that pure black, lets that laser loose. So if you're doing engraving or you're cutting, I'm not sure how cut works because I haven't worked with cut any. If you got to use colors or if it just uses your line and goes with it. But like engraving, if you're wanting deep plunges, go with RGB black and you will get there so much faster. I took, and at first, for my just to test my little theory, I went and opened this back up in Corel, and I lowered the blacks down, took the colors down. Perfect. Not one spot. I have the card here. I had two little spots down on the side there. That was the little one. That was one of the first ones. But all along, I've always, since the beginning, I've been blowing out. My blacks have been blowing out. Well, I work in RGB colors in Corel. I like the deeper, richer colors. It's easier for me to work in doing the stuff I do. And it finally dawned on me that that black is what's doing it. Get rid of that black. I've just turned my black, so I'm going to turn down. Turning the fire down, turning your power down ain't going to help, because it'll be the black is so far out of the spectrum of everything else around it, you'll never get it to come together. You'll always have one color hot, way too hot. This all sounds like a bunch of work. It's 2 clicks. You don't have to pay a website. You don't have to do anything. I use GIMP. Download it. It's free. I have Photoshop. I prefer using GIMP. I got used to it when I didn't have Photoshop, and now I'm just so accustomed to using it, I'd much rather use GIMP. But you can go, if you got you got something like, say this is hitting, and I can't get it dialed in because either I'm losing my stuff on the bottom end, or my one color is just hitting way too hard. It's just, something's not right. Open that drawing up in GIMP. Open it up, and as soon as you open it up, you'll get hit with a dialog box. This dialog box, if you read it, it says, hey, this picture's using some funky color format. Do you want me to convert it over to something real? Heck yeah, just hit yes. It opens the drawing up on your page. You're done. Go up to File at the top, scroll about 3/4 of the way down, a little pop-up that comes out, and there'll be a thing down there for export. Just export the image, give it a new name so you don't rewrite your old one. Give it a new name, hit the OKs on the dialog boxes, go open that image up, and I'll bet you it works perfect. I'll put money on it. I'll bet it works perfect. You don't need to be paying people. You don't need to be doing it. You can do it right in GIMP. Now, if it's a color picture and you're wanting to convert it in GIMP, all you got to do is open the picture up. You've got it on your desktop. You go up to Image, and then there's a thing for Mode. Just in the little flyout, just pick Grayscale. It'll convert it to grayscale for you. If you're going to be putting it on glass, or you're going to etch it and you need it to be a negative, then you go up to Colors and just tell it invert, and it'll just flip it over. You're done. Or if you want to play with it, which I see a lot of people, it almost bothers me when they got this nice engraving, but then it actually looks like a photograph because the hard edges are still there. If you're in GIMP, you can use the eraser tool, and you can smudge out and erase and take your edges off your pictures and make it to where it's floating on there. You can play with it and do custom stuff with your pictures, but soften them up and stuff. It's free. It's fun to play with. But I'm willing to bet that the difference between the CYM colors and RGB colors is what's causing a lot of people problems. And the RGB black being hotter. I know that's what's been my problem all along. Well, now that I've dialed that back, let's go ahead and do the nasty here. Now I went ahead and I can tell you, that's the leaves up there on the top is I don't know if you can see it, there you go. Is one color gray. Then you got your things. I should have done the outline a different color. Then the letters are actually a different color here. These are a different color. Well, get out here and see what we did. Card looks good. I still got a little bit. Like I say, I went on mine, I went back into my drawing itself and lowered. I took all my blacks off of hot black and made them a few degrees cooler. I might be able to even go in and make them a few more degrees cooler. I mean, that's unwashed. And it still looks great. I'm still using the good old GIMP file. And it's almost washed itself off. Nasty rag, paint stick. Where'd you go, brother? There you go. I'm sorry for these full videos, but I like doing them raw. I don't like, so you don't think I'm pulling any magic or doing anything. You get to see it while it's happening. It's here, it's right in front of you. Now the grayscale thingies, I'm going to make up a zip file, and you can ask me for it, or if it turns out that it's useful, hopefully we can get them to put it in the file section. People can download it. Well, that's going to be fun. We got to figure out which one it was now. I don't see, I mean, you can even look through to the back of the other one. It's crystal clean, no burning spots, no discolor, none of that funky stuff we had. Look at the back of that one. I mean, those are absolutely gorgeous, both of them. Even that one is. I was afraid I was going to have to do more tests, so I turned it sideways. Yeah. But that's just a test piece, but I'll bet you, and it's got my name on it, and New Year's, I'll bet you dollars to donuts if I put that in at a table down at the bargain bin, somebody'd take it for $1 or $2. I'm more than impressed. And that's on LaserBox. LaserBox Basic. I mean, you gotta see the color, the frosting and how it glows. It's just amazing. It's gorgeous. I went to work on mine. You can't see that, can you? Yeah. Oh, I hate this tripod. I'll get the other one set up. We'll look at both of them on the other box. But it's, I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they just make a nice presentation. Yeah, I need to make me a little light stand there. By the time we'll look at these things. I wouldn't have any problem putting that cup anywhere. It's probably one of the nicest engraving jobs I've seen. We're getting ready. This one here. This one here ain't got too much longer. And we'll be looking at here in just a minute. Like I say, I'm going to put that test strip. All it is a grayscale. You can make your own, or you can use these. I'm more than happy to share with you. I was going to put that grayscale graphic in there, and then the black version is what it looks like when it's printed out on glass, along with the dot. So if you're really skeptical, throw that dot down and run it across the board. Run it on a piece of wood or something you can engrave in. Give that circle a go and tell me I'm wrong. But I know I fixed a few of my problems, and problems I've been dealing with from the start. I've been looking for difficult answers on when it was basics all along. Well, she's out of the thing. Get you back out here without making everybody seasick. And it fell away from the glass, but other than that, it's looking gorgeous. You in here yet? Ooh. I didn't think that was right, but I thought I had it turned down to 70. That's what I had wrote down, and I went with it. It's still going to be just fine. This one's sticking around. This is what I love. Things I just had 5 minutes ago, I can't find. That ain't the rag. There, it just washed right off. Trying to figure out how much soap to put on it might be an interesting adventure. I can tell I'm fighting soap film down in there. Let's get the, let me put my table back up here. I don't see the thing wrong with that. Real skeptical on my letters, but for blowing through the way it did, if I turn it down 20 to where I thought it should be, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put it in there and run it that way. But that looks gorgeous. Yeah, let me put my light table back up here for you real quick. My quality light table. Overdone. Way overdone. Screwdriver again. Yeah, we got the big high dollar stuff here. I'll tell you what, as it looks like on the back. It looks like on the front. Get a little light on it. There we go. Putting extra light in there. I mean, it's, for what it is, it's absolutely gorgeous. I'll get that other one. It's the same. I mean, you can look through and see the backs. You can look right through there and see that back of that other side, back, the far side there, and it's just as white, just as clean as a pin. Colors are great. There's no streakies. There's no. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you got any problems, you want any help with vector, that's all I've done for 30 years. I've been using CorelDRAW since CorelDRAW first came out. I can use, I'm proficient in CorelDRAW, Photoshop, all the Adobe suites. I'm going to have to get Inkscape so I can answer questions on it. I used to use it a while back. It's been a long time. I'll have to get it just to familiarize myself with it. And I don't use freehand at all, but I guess I'm going to have to just to see. If there's anything you want to know, you want to see, something you got a question about, if this stuff helps you, let me know. I'll keep doing videos. I enjoy it. If I'm helping somebody, that's my thing. If you like what I'm doing, drop me a line or, you know, leave a message. Just let me know. If this ain't helping anybody, I got other things I can do with my time. But, I think you're going to enjoy the info I dropped on you today. And if you want the files, just leave a message. I'll message them to you if I can, or I'll send you the link to download them. I don't know what their Rules are on putting external links. Hopefully I can get them to put them up in the files section. I hope your new year gets to looking better. I know mine is. Happy New Year. Love to hear from you.